All right, welcome to Bettorsports Podcast 1. This is Jared, and this is your host. I'm going to be completely myself on this podcast. I've been waiting to do this for a minute. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to put my heart into this. I'm going to just be myself. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm going to just do what I do. A lot of people been waiting for this. A lot of people been telling me that I need to let my personality speak for itself. So that's what I'm going to do on this podcast, and we're going to talk. We're going to talk. The purpose of this podcast is pretty much to speak educationally about sports, but still have fun. In this generation, I feel like we do a lot of trolling and stuff like that. And it's okay to troll and stuff like that, but it's cool to think. And we're going to get back to that. We're going to really call out, and we're going to really get into everything deep into sports, pretty much across the list. I have a lot of big goals for this podcast. Me personally, I know I see the page. A lot of people been talking about the page. Gotta get the page. We gotta get the page. Gotta get the page up. The page is within close to 2,000 followers. I want to get that page up to 5,000 to 10K followers. So we gotta make sure we're sharing, posting, resharing, and love is free. Love is free. But me personally, I just want to make sure I'm speaking to the community and building a community that loves sports, and building a community around that loves sports that like I do. So pretty much, I want to speak to some coaches. I want to speak to some people, some sports minds. I like people like Dan Orlowski. Eventually, I hope I get on the show. I have a few coaches that I want to speak to, whether it's basketball, football. I want to make sure I'm speaking to different sports. I love all sports. That's what makes me kind of different. I think I love all sports. I appreciate sports. I'm starting to appreciate the business of sports. I started to appreciate some of the politics of sports. I try to stay away from some of the politics of sports, but I do appreciate some of the politics of sports. But that's pretty much, we're going to get into everything into the sport. Everything. And we're going to deep into, we're not going to BS it. We're not going to BS it. You're going to see me use BS a lot, but we're not going to BS it. That's what we're not going to do on this podcast at no time. Anything I say on this podcast, I mean. So that's first thing first. Now, I want to say for me personally, I want to eventually try to find a way to take this podcast out the crib. We're in a station in the crib right now. But I want to eventually take this podcast out the crib. For me, I eventually want to go on a little stadium tour, possibly a skybox tour, because a lot of those are cool. But the stadium tour is really what I've been looking to do. The stadiums are amazing that we have around. They keep getting better and better. They're building new ones. The Olympics are coming around 2028. Can't wait for that. Getting into that. I want to do a lot of things with this podcast. I just can't wait for you to see you guys grow with me and stick with me. Especially you guys here early with me. This is special. This is special. And today we definitely want to get into some sports too. That's been going on throughout the first couple weeks of football. We have some playoff baseball coming up as well. So we're going to get into all of it. Don't worry about it. But I want to make sure you guys understand the purpose of why I'm here and what we're doing with this podcast. But we can get into the sports actually right now. So we'll get into NFL first. I ended off with college football today. NFL. Throughout the first 2 weeks, we'll start with pretty much the NFC East. And it's pretty much going as expected. Washington and Giants are battling for the bottom of the NFC East. Giants have looked abysmal, actually. And the thing about the Giants is, and a lot of you guys know that's my team that you guys get to know me. The thing about the Giants is that the biggest problem and the most alarming problem is it's not just Daniel Jones that's the problem. It's not just Daniel Jones that's the problem. The defense, and especially the defensive front, which is supposed to be star-studded and with 3 potential talents up front, have found a way to be normal. And normal is kind, because they really haven't done anything. Normal is kind. For talent like that, they've been abysmal. So, that's being said for that. Daniel Jones has one good game where he's one of the bottom QBs in the league. Another game where he's top 3 QBRs in the league, and the Giants find a way to lose both. So the Giants are just finding ways to lose games. Washington found a way to, and I said this before the year, if you guys do follow the page and are paying attention on TikTok or Instagram, if you guys are paying attention and seeing any of the previews, that Washington made a horrible hire of hiring the Giants' former O-line coach from last year and hired him. And that's the problem this year with Jaden Daniels. Now, I think some people are overdoing it with Jaden Daniels so far about his first 2 games. I'm not as impressed with the first 2 games, and a lot of people are down on Caleb's first 2 games. I think it's an honest assessment on what Caleb has done, because what I think with Caleb is that some people came in with too many high projections. But for Jaden Daniels, I think, to be honest, he's game managed, but which is okay. But he hasn't really done anything outstanding. Like, he really hasn't done anything outstanding. Some people credit the running. It's really pan. I consider some of it more of it was panicking. It wasn't really anything outstanding, especially in the Giants game too. The kicker won that game. He didn't score a touchdown in that game. Like, I feel like we're crediting some people and discrediting some people for doing the same thing, and we're not going to do that here. We're not going to BS it. I already told y'all that. So that's it. The Eagles' first game looked beautiful. They played tonight. I'm recording this on Monday night. They played tonight. The Eagles looked beautiful on week 1. With that being said, that is a team that is tough to trust in the playoffs, because Jalen Hurts' decision making, man, I feel like it hurt them. And you've seen it, and you've seen it in the game. Even though they won the game, Jalen Hurts still shows some flaws from last year that was still like, this may be him. Where I'm saying that I'm a guy that watched college football. There was a reason why Nick Saban replaced him. Also, the scheme that they were running that first year that he was starting, there was 5-6 yards of separation. Steve Steichen is not there no more. Coaching matters, yes, 100%. You're gonna hear us talk about that. Coaching does matter here. But Steve Steichen is not there no more. He's with the Colts. He's not coming back. So Philly needs to find a way for the guy that they paid $50 million to find a way to get back to what they was, or what they were doing when his receiver was getting 5 yards of separation. They need to scheme better as well. That's a coaching thing as well. That's not only on Jalen Hurts, but also he has a lot more responsibilities this year without Jason Kelce. Furthermore, though, even though I say all of that, they do look like the best team in the NFC East. The Dallas Cowboys this week face a team that wants to be physical, and the same thing happens at home. The last time they were home, they got punched in their mouth by the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs. You cannot come out like that, and they came out like that. That is unacceptable. You can't come out like that. That's not how you come out the first home game of the year. Ran over, disrespected by Derek Carr and company. Alvin Kamara, have a day. Have a day, young man. That Alvin Kamara was acting silly out there. 44 fantasy points. Now, I got him on fantasy personally. If you guys got me on anything, then you're going to see it in my story. I'm not capping. I got him in fantasy, and it was beautiful to watch. It was beautiful to watch, because it makes it seem like I'm a good as a GM as I think I am. So, furthermore with that, we're going to go to the NFC North, since I did mention Caleb Williams. The Bears, as I expected, I told you guys, will struggle a little. They did win the game week 1 with Caleb Williams struggling, but game 2, they couldn't get it done against the Texans. To be honest, I think the expectation was too high for Caleb. I don't think he's playing completely horrible. I think that he's trying to game manage, and some of the games are not enough. Some games will get it done. And that's what happens when you have a game manager at the moment. That's okay. But when the guy wins 7 games in the Pac-12, you can't expect him to win 9 games and get to the playoffs. And the NFC, this is the NFL. Whether the NFC is a weaker conference or not, this is the NFL. Those defensive linemen are tough and athletic freaks. I think a lot of people are disrespecting them. I think as well as you go into more, the O-line is just bad. The O-line is bad. You see multiple clips going on social media about their O-line and different players, but the O-line is bad, point blank period. And just like I talked about with Jaden Daniels, it's not just them. They're dealing with a tough situation with the O-line and possibly also the coaches. So they're both in a tough situations. I just think that we need to both grade them equally. let's not be unfair for who we like or dislike or whoever you want to credit and discredit. Going on in the division, early on, Detroit is disappointing a little. Detroit's a little disappointing. I don't know what's going on. St. Brown and them have to have a little problem going on, and I heard a rumor going on before the year, and I don't believe every rumor, but when insiders give us something, I do think we should take heed to it, whether we want to take heed to it or not. But these are the people we are asking for the information from, and when they are giving us some information, we do got to use our own IQ, what to believe or not. But I kept it in the back of my mind. They were talking about that. Not everybody was so happy with his contract that he got. They wanted to leave some more money on the table for some other people for them to do other stuff. They don't want him to run into some problem they think the 49ers are about to run into, or may could have ran into, or the Eagles could have ran into. They just want to try to keep as much talent in-house as they can. And supposedly that has caused some problems. Also, the receiver Netflix thing caused a little problem. So I know that some people weren't fully happy about how all that went down. To see how the year has started with him not getting a lot of reception and to see how the schemes and stuff has worked, it makes me kind of see what's going on with that. Now, Jameson Williams, someone on my fantasy team as well, good GM, has been said that he's going to be a rising star in this league, but I wasn't expecting him to be wide receiver 1 this year. And he's looking like wide receiver 1 this year. Now, for me, the division is up for them for the takings. The Vikings somehow have found themselves at 2-0. The Packers are 1-1 with a way to go to, but a way to find themselves in the division without Jordan Love, where you guys have the Detroit Lions this year. Seriously, is a Super Bowl caliber team. We see what Aiden Hutchinson and company did the other day. Aiden Hutchinson had 5.5 sacks in one day. They're a Super Bowl caliber team. We're just ready for their defense to step up with their offense. But this year, their offense is dropping the ball. That loss to the Bucs was a tough loss because I believe that's the team that knocked out the Bucs last year in the playoffs. So that was a message-sending game, especially for the Bucs and Baker Mayfield and them look comfortable going into Detroit and putting on a show. So that was a message sent in that division. I will say going to the NFC South, Carolina Panthers are sad. Now, for me, I wasn't always a believer of Bryce Young being the best quarterback in the draft. I was more of an Anthony Richardson guy, whether some people want to believe it's biased or not. I'm a Florida Gator guy, but I thought that Anthony Richardson was the best quarterback in that draft. The situation with Bryce, they completely mismanaging it in front of our eyes, and we've seen it with Justin Fields in Chicago. That they're mismanaging it, and it's not good again. Like, I don't get it. You have no O-line. You don't fix that. The wide receivers don't really seem to get it. And yes, Bryce is not playing wonderful at all. A lot of bonehead decisions. But it's like you're not protecting your investment. And that's what you're supposed to be doing as a franchise, protecting your investment. You should have possibly sat him until you got some more talent. But you got him running around there getting hit. And he may be just getting PTSD, has the clock hand set now. So I'm not sure what's going on with Bryce, but that's a bad situation. The Saints look really good this year. The Falcons are supposed to be really good this year. Let's see what they look like tonight, because to be honest, Kirk Cousins cannot move around really well at all. And it was kind of alarming coming off an injury, but he is coming off an injury, so I'm just going to leave it at that. He is coming off an injury, and I don't want to harp on that too much. Let's see what he looks like tonight against Philly. But if he looks more of the same tonight, they might be in trouble. And there might be a reason why they drafted Michael Penix, because they may have already questioned the injury thing. And just wanted to get a for sure guy in here right now to try to take advantage of the win now moment now, and still be able to try to build on the young guy that could be ready soon. Because Michael Penix could. Michael Penix, even in preseason, showed a little potential. So, with that being said, the Saints look for real in this division. For real. The Bucs, so far, for real in this division. So this division is a little better than I said. I will give credit. I said that this division is a sleeper, but to be honest, this division is a little better than I said. But we'll take it to the NFC West and wrap it up there where there's a lot of injuries coming up in the division within the Rams and them. Seattle is not, like I said, not a good team. Will be the bottom of the division. I'm going to stand on that. Seattle Seahawks will finish the bottom of the division. You guys can hold me to that. And the Cardinals are, like I said, they may not be world beaters. I'm not sure if they're wild card contenders, but these guys are a better team than some people credit them for. I think Colin and them keep games interesting. The defense keeps games interesting. They're physical teams. They coach well. So they are interesting. The AFC, I'm going to run through quickly. The Chiefs are still at top, pretty much. Whether people like it or not, Ravens and Bengals can't seem to figure it out at the end of the games against them. That's long story short. Long story short. And it's pretty simple with that. I'm going to just leave it at that. Mike Tomlin and that company just found ways to win 2-0 at the top of that division. That's ridiculous. Like, so, credit to the Steelers. I had them at the bottom of the division, and I came out with a bold statement saying that this was the first year they're doing for the F500. So far, that was looking like a foolish thing. I'm going to run through the college real quick with it. ACC is Miami's conference. After what they did with the Line Gators, after what Florida State looks like, Clemson is okay. I think that Miami is just enough. I think that Ken Ward is too much for Clemson's defense. That Ken Ward and company will probably put up 28-31. Clemson will probably put up anywhere between 17 and 24, and it just won't be enough in that game. But I truly do think that conference is approved. Big 12 is a deeper conference. Cam Rising, man, I feel sorry for the kid, but as well, you got to pass up if you're Utah. You can't sit here and keep wasting other kids behind time just for Cam Rising, because this is about to be 8th year next year. You got to wrap that up. You got to wrap it up. I'm sorry. It's a tough way to send a kid out, but you got to wrap it up and keep moving on. You have too much talent. This is the most talent that the university probably had in a while. So you got to wrap that up. As well as in the conference, you have a chance to really take the conference where Kansas State, like I felt like, is not as good as people think they are. So to be honest, Kansas State is leaving the door open with Avery Johnson. They were not really playing that great in the first 2 games we've seen them. The SEC is stacked as expected. Texas, Georgia, Alabama and company up top, Ole Miss, Tennessee, all stacked, all in the top 10. Missouri, all look well. And I can't say much bad about them, to be honest. I can't say much bad about the SEC so far. Florida needs to seriously fire Billy Napier, and I was a big Napier supporter, but it's time to let it go. I'm going to just leave it at that for this week. I appreciate you guys being with me, for real. And stay followed with me. Next week, we got a big week. I'm going to break down more. And just stay with me, follow, share it to your mother, your grandpappy, anybody. I love you.